spot. Okay, and then it tells us that we have 31 of those. Okay, so easy enough, 31, it's 2 blanks, we can fill those in, right? Alright, so I kind of stole it from you. Destiny, why don't you finish B for us? B says 203 and 25 thousandths. What do you want me to write up here?
203.
Okay, so that says, give me digits.
2 zeros.
Good.
Decimal point.
Beautiful. Now how many blanks am I going to need?
4.
Okay, 4 thousandths. Does everyone agree with her?
No.
Let's name them real quick.
Tens, hundreds, thousands.
So how many do we need? 3. So that's why I gotta just make sure every time, go through and just double check it, okay? So it tells us we have 25 thousandths. So where do you want me to put the 25?
In the last 2.
In the last 2. And then what do I do with that extra blank? Put a 0. Good. So this is just kind of a placeholder. We don't actually name that when we name this number. We name our whole digit after the decimal, 25, and then the space that last number is in. Okay? Sit up, Jamaica. All right, any questions on that, Damon? You going to be able to name your numbers?
Yeah.
Okay. We are to adding and subtracting decimal numbers. And you guys have already told me over and over and over and over again, when you add and subtract decimal numbers, what's the most important thing that you need to do? Portia, what's the most important thing? What's the most important thing when you add and subtract decimal numbers?
Make sure that your point is lined up.
Good. The point needs to be lined up. Our decimal point always needs to be lined up. Do not let that be a trick for you. Always, 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 always make that decimal point line up in a column, okay? So we add and subtract decimals. Let's look at example 6.3. It says to simplify A, 6.231 plus 0.04, add them together. Damon, what do you want me to write up here? Moving down our page like we always do. How are we going to add? Yep, how are you going to do it?
6.231.
Okay, and then where do you want me to line up the rest of it?
Then 0 up on the 6.
Under the 6, good.
Point on the point.
Good.
0. 4 0.
Good, so Damon put in that last 0 filler for us. Alright, so Damon, add it up for me.
6 2
6, 2.
7 1.
Am I finished? Decimal. So it drops straight down, right? 6.271. Beautiful. Alright, Jamaica, example B. It says 6.23 minus 0.044. How do you want me to do it? Sorry, minus. I don't know if I said minus or not, but 6.23 minus 0.044. How am I going to do it?
This one.
Uh-huh.
How you gonna do it?
Yep. How do you want me to line it up and write it out? 6.23 minus 0.044. I just want to make sure that we all see it.
6.
6.
Point.
Point.
2.
2.
3.
3.
0.
0. Placeholder 0, right?
Under the 6, put a 0.
Good.
Point.
Point.
0.
0.
4.
4.
4.
4. And we're adding or subtracting?
Subtracting.
Subtracting. Alright, do my math for me.
Borrow.
Borrow.
2. 10.
Okay.
6.
Beautiful.
Borrow.
Borrow. So that becomes
12.
and
The 2 become 1.
beautiful.
8. 1. 6. Point.
Good. 6.186. Okay? So, we see, make sure we line up our decimal points. Alright, so now we get to our rounding of our decimal numbers. Very, 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 very similar to whole numbers. Okay? The only difference now is going to be make sure that you know which place. So we're going to circle our places like we did originally and draw our arrow to the next one that we're going to look at. Okay? The trick now, if we are rounding, is going to be that at the very end, after a decimal, right, if I said to round to the 10,000ths, which digit do you want me to circle? Destiny? Up here. This is my own example. It's not in your book. If I told you I want to round to the 10,000ths, which spot am I going to circle? Which one do I want to be my last one I keep? Say it again? The 8. Good. So the 8 is the spot we're going to circle, and that means we're going to look at which one, Destiny?
2.
The 2. Okay? So, does that 2 make the 8 go up or stay the same? Stay the same. So my new number, when I round, is 0.006, whoops, forgot an O.
006, whoops.
0.0068, okay? I don't need to put anything in the spots after that 8 because that's the last digit it told me to round to, okay? So if I added zeros after that, that's extra work, don't do it, okay? Just leave it here. If I say 0.006827 to the nearest 10,000th, this is going to be the answer I want to see, okay? Portia, eyes up here. Jamaica, eyes up here. Okay, this is the answer I want to see. Leave off those last 2 that you rounded. Don't put zeros, don't put anything. This is what I want to see, okay? So, the number line is one of the things that they're going to bring in here to help us understand the process of rounding decimal numbers, okay? Here, 0.006827 was between 0.0068 and 0.0069, okay? And we're trying to figure out if it's closer to the 0.0069 or 0.0068, and since we know that that next digit is a 2, it's probably closer to this side. So that's why you rounded to 0.0068, okay? I think you guys get that. They're just showing you the number line to make sure, okay? So we see it. We've got our first example, 6.4. It says to round. Someone read me that number. We're going to practice our reading our numbers real quick. 212. So how do we start? Who's up next? I think it's Portia's turn. 212. Portia, what do we start with? Your turn. Go. 212. We start with? That's the easy part. 212. How do you say this part that I've got written up here? Say it again.
212 and.
Okay. Read me this number though. I'm saying 212. 212 and. Good. And then they give us 0165725. Okay, so let's figure out first, what do we need to figure out about this number? We're naming it. I know, it's scary looking, but you guys are going to have to do this for homework, so let's practice. Okay, she's got the 212 decimal, 212 and, taken care of for us. What do we do next?
16.
Okay, one suggestion I have for you, if you want to do it, is write out the number that you're going to name below. So this number, you don't need your 0, but you need everything else, right? Okay, so rewrite it so that you can see where your commas go.
1.
Keep going.
165,725.
Okay, so 165,725 sounds awesome. What's the one little section that we're missing in order to finish naming our number? You got the decimal. You said 212 and 165,725.
The place value.
The place value. So which digit up there do I want the place value for? The name of it?
5.
This one?
No.
No.
The end 5.
The end 5. So Portia is looking to name that last 5. So Portia, let's figure out what it's called. This spot is called?
Yeah.
Got to name it something.
10.
Good. Tenths.
100,000. 10,000. 100,000. Million. 10 million. So
Okay. So 10. Say it again.
10 million.
Millions. Don't forget that. Okay? That's an important sound to make and important letters to write. Okay? Don't forget your TH. Alright, eyes on our books, please. Everything else away. Alright, so now that we've named our number, Portia, I'm going to let it still be your turn. What are we going to do? It says to round to the nearest 10,000th. So which digit is in the 10,000th place? Gonna start again, name them.
1,
Careful.
10, 100,000. What you want to know again?
10,000ths.
Okay, the 5 is 10.
The 5. So what do you want me to do to the 5? We're rounding. Yep, so what do you want me to do to the 5?
Round it.
We're going to round it, but first we circle it and we
point out the next number.
point out the next number. So my rounded number is going to be what?
Round up.
Round it up. So read me, you can, like I did, 2, 1, 2, dot.
165.
165.
165.
10 thousandths. So all I want you to do, you can say 2, 1, 2, dot, oh, finish it for me.
165.
But we're rounding.
Oh, 6.
Good, 166. Okay, so 212.0165725 rounded to the nearest 10,000th is 212.0166. She rounded up because of that 7. Knock those off. You can just leave that last 6. Okay? All right, Damon's up. Damon, example 6.5 says to round 4057.2138362 to 2 decimal places. So which decimal do you want to circle if you're rounding to 2 decimal places? Okay, the first one, right? The one in the tenths or the one in the hundredths?
So the one. Oh, it's right here.
Uh-huh. 4057.2138362 to 2 decimal places. So the key, Jamaica, those markers are about to be mine. Put them away. I don't want to see them. If we are rounding to 2 decimal places, how many digits do you need to look at? What's the trick, Damon?
2.
You're going to look at 2?
Yes.
If we needed to round this one to 2 decimal places, which one would we circle? To 2 decimal places?
6.
Which one do you want to circle if we're rounding to 2 decimal places? Alright, I will give you a hint. That is another way of saying if we're rounding to 2, that means you want 2 left. So that's going to be another way to say to round to the nearest hundredth. Okay? So, this one, let's rewind for a second. If I rounded this number to the nearest hundredth, which number would I circle? Which digit, Damon?
1.
The 1. And I would look at
6.
the 6, so this one would have become 212 point what? 0?
1.
Carefully, you told me the 1 was what you were rounding.
Oh, it's 2.
2. 0.
0.
You have to add?
No need to add that. Where's the 2?
Right, and no need to add the rest. So Damon rounded to my nearest hundredth here. So that means to the nearest 2 digits. That means I need my answer to be in 2 digits after the decimal, okay? So I circle the second one and look at the third. So if you're ever told to round to 2 digits, you're going to need to find 3 digits in order to round to 2 digits. Okay? Does that make sense? Alright, back to the example. Since you just did this one, I'm going to pass to Jamaica. So Jamaica, let's go back. We've got 4057.2138362 to 2 decimal places. So which digit do you want to circle if we're rounding to 2 decimal places?
The 1.
The 1 in the which spot?
Hundredths.
Perfect, in the hundredth spot. And what's after that 1? The arrow would point to the
3.
The 3. So does that make the 1 stay the same or go down? Or sorry, go up or stay the same?
Stay the same.
Stay the same. So your final answer is going to be
457.21.
perfect. 4057.21. Absolutely perfect. All right, and that brings us to the end of our lesson. So you guys go ahead and do practice A through H. There are a couple extra today, A through H. And homework for tomorrow is problem set 6, 1 through 30. Okay, so get started on your practice, and I will check it when you're finished.